So, to my longtime viewers, much overdue apology is in order. I have lost my way just a bit, but we'll deal with that in a second because the world of payments has been changing, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm mad that I stepped away a little bit and we've been missing some things because even though I've lost my way, projects like Algorand have not, ladies and gentlemen. Let's jump over to Genfinity.io. It's one of my favorite news publications. I've been rocking with the brothers behind this publication for a number of years, guys. But European fintech Settlement has moved from the Ethereum blockchain to the 7 times faster Algorand. Now, there are a number of reasons why they did this. The most important being to be compliant with the changing EU regulatory environment, which we already know MiCA is the new law of the land. I am aware of the story centered around Tether. Coinbase is getting ready to delist non-EU compliant stablecoins, and to this day, Tether still ain't got their paperwork together. Now, why is that relevant to our discussion today? Because what I'm starting to see are the USDC compatible chains receive a lot more interest now that these MiCA rules are starting to take effect. So let's dive into this story here. European payments fintech Settlement has moved to the Algorand blockchain to scale regulated real-world payments, boosting development speed by 7x while maintaining compliance with EU regulations. Genfinity has a word from the CTO describing exactly, outside of the regulatory reasons, why they made this jump. Settlement decided to transition from Ethereum's virtual machine to Algorand to achieve greater efficiency in scaling its regulated payment operations. Settlement CTO Jason Spivosky explained that their internal study revealed their engineering team could build essential blockchain components 7 times faster on Algorand than other platforms. This speed boost stems from Algorand already having many of the critical components Settlement requires built into the network. This calls back to the Algorand ad. They had, what was the guy's name? The founder, Mr. Woods, in the commercial, and a couple other guys. I believe I saw, what's his name? Mr. Lubin from Consensus in the commercial. You guys know what I'm talking about. The whole premise of that commercial was how much faster Algorand was compared to Ethereum, Solana, and Bitcoin. That is genius level marketing. That's something else, guys, that I have noticed, especially centered around payments. They are getting their marketing together, and it's a beautiful thing to see. Now, they add one of the key advantages Algorand offers is its atomic transaction feature. This allows Settlement to create group transactions with built-in rules that ensure all payments succeed or fail as a single unit, reducing delivery versus payment risk. This built-in feature reduces development complexity and mitigates risk, which is crucial for a payment platform operating under a regulated license. So, leaning back to those coming MiCA rules, I believe Algorand was one of the first assets creating products that were already preparing for MiCA compliancy. It starts with a Q, Quantos. We covered this relationship, but Quantos has a dedicated and regulated stablecoin in the EU market running on Algorand. The payments, they are ahead of the game. And again, at the end of this episode, guys, I'm going to share with you a little bit what I had been going through. But I'll tell you this, everything's fine now. We're getting back to the way things used to be. Now, we're going to jump over to the HBAR Foundation, all right? Because we got a story from October 1st I want to share with you guys. Canary Capital makes debut and launches U.S.'s first HBAR trust. This week, we also had news of an XRP trust. I found that to be interesting. Bitwise, one of the names behind the XRP trust. But for this one, we actually have Valkyrie and Canary Capital Group. Let's dive in here. So, Canary Capital, digital asset-focused investment fund, today announced its official launch alongside the debut of its first trust offering, the Canary HBAR Trust. Stephen McClurg, former co-founder and chief investment officer of Valkyrie, established Canary Capital to drive innovation and deliver actively manage private strategies to meet institutional demand for sophisticated crypto investment solutions. Canary's HBAR Trust is the first dedicated HBAR investment vehicle in the United States. That's how I got caught up in my words there. I really wanted to highlight that part of the sentence. This is the first HBAR investment vehicle in the United States. And I know I've been out of it for a minute, but I don't hear this being discussed quite a bit. I know there's a lot of controversy around Hedera, and I'll tell you, I had a conversation over the summer that shed a lot of light on what has been going on with the Hedera network for the last couple of years. All right? I'll sum it up to you like this. There is a lack of real-world business experience throughout all of these projects. That is why the ones that often get the most attention, they have 9 times out of 10 marketing departments filled with people with traditional university experience. That's why there's a whole degree discipline set aside for business marketing, because if you get it right, it'll make you a trillionaire. That is the biggest difference. And that also explains why some of the assets that we like to follow, like Hedera, have been struggling, is because they don't have enough people behind the scenes with real world business experience to really get the cogs turning. So seeing news like this should make you more optimistic about holding HBAR. I know it's been a long time. I know some of you may have gone in and out of HBAR. I will admit I have too. The idea I had to go full in on HBAR with the channel was not the best, because as a producer of content, you just don't want to box yourself in like that. That does not remove any of the credit that I have given HBAR over the last 5 years. I still believe that the system itself, the open source technology, is one of the best on this market. The real world aspect of things just got in the way, folks. Simple as that. Now let's finish this paragraph out. The first ever investment vehicle in the United States is a private offering that provides qualified investors secure exposure to HBAR, native cryptocurrency that underlies the network. Hedera has emerged as a leading enterprise-grade DLT that continues to see real growth potential, especially within the space of asset tokenization and other use cases such as NFT issuance and Web3 application development. I will tell y'all right now, it's payments. And I had someone very close to me, very close friend of mine, he's really been helping me out through this period, really break it down to me like, bro, the only thing that people are aware of right now is payments. So taking that into consideration, here's the conclusion that I have come to. We have waited long enough, and the payment space could be the first to pop, because this is the one that they've been hearing about the most. It's the one that's been whispered, and now it's the payment projects with enough money and enough backing from staying down for so long that can now produce real world recognizable marketing, like the Algorand commercial, like other commercials that are soon to come out from these projects. Stellar is doing the same thing, and wait till you see what I have on Stellar. But first ever US-based trading product involving HBAR, the HBAR Trust. This last sentence here in the paragraph says that this could open the door for an ETF focused on HBAR. Now, a lot of people feel a certain way about ETFs and how they've affected the price of Bitcoin. Well, the way I'm looking at it, Bitcoin's price has not dropped below 60,000 or below 50,000 since the ETF launched. Same thing happened to gold. It was a bit rocky in them first 3 months, but gold has never gone back down to those prices pre-ETF. Let that stand for something. Now let's talk about another favorite here. And I know Billy Jonas, can't wait to see your comment, man. XDC is the real Ethereum killer for sure. But this past week, the XDC Network and foundership joined forces to empower Web3 startups at XDC Demo Day alongside Token 2049. Drop a comment if you were able to make it to that conference. I heard that one was pretty big this year. They have had some pretty big conferences in the last few years. I can't wait for the day I get to go myself. But the short of it is, Singapore XDC Network Enterprise, Layer 1 Blockchain, and Foundership have partnered to launch a 12-week dedicated accelerator to coach startups on everything they need to become token launch ready. The collaboration was highlighted during the prestigious Token 2049 week, where Foundership organized a demo day at the ADRR FinTech Hub. The partnership plans to provide over $2 million in funding for more than 10 innovative startups, accelerating the development of applications built on the XDC network. So, I love to still see XDC in this phase, the phase of collecting builders, the phase of setting up shop and allowing your customers to come in. What I see is going to come out of this $2 million in funding from these 10 innovative startups are the next applications that are going to bring more attention to XDC. Because let's face it, what do you know that runs on XDC at this current moment? We know about trade techs, we know about trade finance, we know about the trade finance platforms, the XDC trade network, but no one is talking about plugin. No one is talking about prime numbers. No one is honestly talking about Globians anymore. And I thought Globians was going to take over the world. They were the first to have multinational stablecoins for a project with less than $100 million market cap. So as the market is changing, the narratives around these coins that we hold will change. What we have to pay attention to is, has the core focus changed? And as long as that remains the same, then we shouldn't have any issues. I know some of you probably felt that way about this channel over the last few months. Now, XDC recently just had a very important upgrade. It finished the last week of September. XDC 2.0 upgrade. This upgrade is what it will allow XDC Network to truly begin to matriculate throughout the world of trade finance. I read tons of books. Well, not tons. Let me not over exaggerate. It was 2. But it was enough to get a deeper understanding of the world of trade finance and just where XDC and its software can fit into it. There are so many intricate layers to a global trade transaction that is driving people crazy. It involves a lot of paper and it extends the transaction time from 7 days to sometimes 7 months. XDC, with the upgrade to 2.0, making everything faster, more secure. It will allow them to create secure applications that will affect individual parts of these global trade transactions. Look up Bill of Lading and it'll take you down that rabbit hole that I went into. Now, this is XDC's blog, xdc.org, if you want to check it out. And this paragraph here really summarizes it just a bit more for us. The 2.0 upgrade introduces next levels military grade security and forensic monitoring. The current XDC network POS protocol is fortified to resist attacks and has a remarkable uptime record. The upgrade improves upon this. In contrast, XDPOS 1.0, where high security is achieved as blocks grow deeper, resulting in longer confirmation delay, XDC 2.0 requires only a 3-block finality. With a new block generated every 2 seconds, maximum security is achieved 6 seconds after a block is generated, raising the bar substantially for layer 1 security. What that simply translates to is that now XDC is processing transactions twice as fast as it did before. So if we take an example from projects who had higher transaction speeds and higher throughput than XDC up until this point, we see the vastness and the variety of applications being built on XRP, on Stellar. Hey, even if you don't like it, Solana. Solana is in the race when it comes to payments because of the applications that they are building. This upgrade to 2.0 with the $2 million fund towards the 10 new innovative projects, there should be some payment protocols coming from that $2 million fund. All very much, these are all things to be very much excited about. As you can tell, couldn't even get the sentence out of my face. Now, I'm going to jump over here to LinkedIn, guys. It's the reason why I started following these crypto companies, these software providers on LinkedIn. It's because they're giving out different alpha than what they give on X. And you'd be surprised to find out Facebook is a lot the same. It's a lot the same. But I'm going to jump in partway through this clip here with Danielle Dixon. She appeared on Bloomberg Crypto, and they were talking about Stellar's relationship with the UN and Ukraine and the Ukrainian refugee program, the UNHCR, the aid assists. This is national TV. Now, let's just jump into what she says, because they asked her the process step by step.
Industry is transforming. At what juncture is the stablecoin industry becoming more important than the regular way Bitcoin, Ethereum, crypto community as we had previously talked about it?
Well, you got to remember that the rails are the technology are the rails. And so those tokens in every one of these pieces of, in every one of these chains are the secret sauce, sort of the way that keeps everything tight, that makes sure it ensures that there's security and stability in the network. But in terms of really transacting, we've always believed that tokenization of fiat and just tokenization of real world assets is the way to sort of make this all work together. You really have.
I just want to chime in. Every time I hear her speak, it reminds me of my second grade math teacher. I really liked her.
Have to interoperate with the traditional financial infrastructure to be able to reach people where their needs are. And so this is a great example of it. And you're right, it demonstrates that there's like such growth and maturity in the industry. And sometimes we don't always hear about that part.
Danelle, help us understand the last mile of delivery for these refugees here. What happens when they do get the monies in stablecoin? What is the ultimate way that they're able to use that in a local currency?
Yeah, I mean, the perfect world someday is that they'll just be able to leverage these stable coins down at merchants. And this is something that actually the Ukraine is working on itself, which it's called the Transparent Network, and they're working on being able to deliver it that way. But right now what happens is the refugee receives a text message from the UNHCR says you're eligible to receive aid. That refugee then downloads the wallet that is recommended by the UNHCR. And then once they put in their KYC information, so they know your customers, so all their details, they then have the aid right there in their wallet. They can make some choices at that point. They can say, okay, I'm just going to hold this right now because I don't want to go out. It's not safe for me to go out, or it's not the right time. Or they can actually go down to a MoneyGram location and they cash out into the local currency. They can cash out into local currency no matter where they are. So if they're in Poland, for example, versus Ukraine, they can still cash out there.
Anywhere they are. They have gotten this system to peak performance. I remember being the first to cover MoneyGram abandoning their relationship with Ripple. And then a few months later, less than 4, all of a sudden MoneyGram, Stellar Lumens, and they're coming with this whole new payment network. And over the last 3 years, this thing has really evolved. And I knew that the application, the one that she's referring to right now in Ukraine, would be the crux of it. You got to understand what they pulled off with this application can now be duplicated all over the world. All the more reason why I had to wisen up and get back to what brought me to the dance. I'm fully aware of what were the things that made this channel click in the beginning, and this is just a bonus headline. I was going to share this, but I am paying attention to BRICS nations. They're moving as well. But simply, guys, the whole point of all of the changes and everything I was going through, the name change, the graphics, and all of that, just trying to keep up with everything on YouTube, man. You know, the crypto space was one thing, but my platform is YouTube, so I have to adjust and make changes accordingly. Somewhere along the way, I got lost in it. I got lost in the sauce, and I apologize for that. Going forward, man, we're going right back to this. We got to keep it kosher just like this. We'll save all the fancy graphics and editing for the Docs channel, which is really where it belongs. This channel, you guys showed up here for this, for me. The way I just kicked it to you in this video is the reason why you guys showed up. That is something I had to understand. I personally just have this thing about constant improvement, but something that my wife is helping me realize is you got to recognize when you're already winning, when you're already doing what you need to do to get the job done. Simply, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And I'm pretty sure DHN crypto wasn't broken. So with that, thank you guys for coming back. Thank you guys for sticking with your boy through this time. Again, if you want to check out some crypto products, I've been in the space almost half a decade now, and there are only 3 that I use. They'll be linked in the pinned comment. And with that, I ain't said this in a while, so I'm gonna do it with some gusto. If that money is digital, so is the hustle.